What are AdWords and what can you do with them?
Well, AdWords is it's a brand name for a form of pay-per-click advertising, a sponsored keyword advertising. So you are, and probably everyone knows this, but those that don't, you're charged on the click. That collectively builds up to a bill. But you, as part of the whole process, AdWords, as we're talking about here, has a control panel, and the control panel gives you a very valid breakdown of your activity, clicks, if it's set up correctly, conversions, how much you've spent per click, average cost per click. There's a vast amount of information. So in spending, you're also acquiring a lot of knowledge about the activity that's going on your website.
Why would you want to use AdWords or spend your time or money on AdWords as opposed to, say, focusing on search engine optimization and trying to get to the top of that top page without spending money on AdWords?
Okay, good question. Things have changed slightly, and if I just show, hopefully you can see up here, it's a typical search result. So I put in greeting cards, and at the top we have Google Shopping results with the images, and then we have some ads coming in just beneath. Beneath that you have what's called the organic listings, and really the top two are, you pay for those, you pay to appear there. These down here, well, ultimately you end up paying, because if often people will pay someone else to try to get them up this list, but it's becoming harder to be seen, especially when you've got a page that's cluttered up with also local results, local pack here, and then down at the bottom more ads, and then further related searches. So what you end up with is, if you consider the person performing the search, they're faced with an awful lot of information.
And if you were going to go for AdWords, can you give me a general idea about how much that is likely to cost? I know it depends on the bidding and how popular it is.
Totally, completely, because it can be from in the tens of pence to the tens of pounds per click, depending on competition, price of product, the lead value, if you like, time of day, week, month. It will vary. So I could never give an accurate price on that. So it becomes a case of having to be quite careful with things like budgeting, because the tools within AdWords, and I'm coming away from shopping here, but AdWords is that you can specify a daily budget, which is very, very useful. It prevents runaway spend. You can specify maximum cost per the click, which again holds things back, and really it's more a case of speculation of what you can afford. Always with these things you have to temper your exposure with cost. This whole cost versus return element, which is to try, when you're starting out these campaigns, you start them small. You start them on a limited basis, to then work out what's happening, how efficiently the site's converting. You throw money out and the site doesn't convert, and you've put a month's worth of expenditure into it, you could have wasted an awful lot of money. And I think when people say, I've used AdWords and it didn't work for me, that's often what's happened. They've not understood the process, they've not considered maybe, and they've put a pile of keywords in, all different kinds of SKUs, because you'll be given suggestions, lots of suggestions by the system itself. And it will also continue to give you suggestions, add these in to get more traffic. But there's almost an assumption that your website is efficiently converting business.
How often would you check it if you were a small retailer? Would you be on analytics for 20 minutes a day?
You might. 10 minutes a day might be enough as a retailer, as a small business running a small campaign. If it's one campaign, a small collection of keywords. But 10 minutes a day soon mounts up. If you're doing it every day of the week.
Yeah.
Once this starts to grow, it starts to get bigger, then you really should be spending more time on it and not being afraid to cull keywords that aren't working, and seek out new keywords.
Would you start with a very narrow range of AdWords and put enough money in them to give it a good run, or would you go for lots of AdWords to give yourself a bit of a spread with a little bit of money on each one?
Keep it small. Single campaign, single small group of keywords, half a dozen keywords that are relevant. Look at the predictions for them. Don't be afraid at that point. Well, there's nothing to be afraid of. Well, that might not be that list might not be particularly efficient. Take 2 or 3 out and try and predict those, and then go forward with those. You can always change it. You can always switch it off. You can always adjust it. But there's too many people leave them running. Just leave them running for too long without doing anything with them, and that's it's almost you just can't do that. It's just wasting. It is wasting money.
Can you track and figure out if what you're doing is successful or what changes you might need to make?
Well, you can look at the record. The record of what's occurring within your control panel will give you ultimately the results. And if you've set e-commerce tracking up within the system, and you've got the code in the website, then ideally what should be happening is you'll start to see those conversions coming through, and they will be proof to you. You'll know that you're getting the orders as well, but you might not actually know where they're coming from if you're doing a whole load of other things. But if you can look at AdWords, look at the control panel evidence, and it's telling you that you've had five conversions on one particular keyword and 3 from another, and an aggregate of 10 orders for the week, then you know that's working, and then you know which keywords are working, and you can continue to use those, or then decide at that point to spend more. Because if you can work out a percentage conversion rate from the total clicks that you've had, you can then make a calculated guess that the likelihood is that you spend twice the amount of money, you'll probably get twice the amount of business.
Is there a particular sort of area of AdWords that you think people would benefit from getting some expert help, or is it all actually completely manageable in-house and there's no need to outsource it?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. You always ask good questions.
I know. Relentless.
If you've got an enormous campaign and you think it's not running efficiently, then maybe the thing to do is talk to someone about it. If you're starting out, see how you get on. If you start to get confused, talk to someone about it. It's a massive system. It does so many things. It used to be really intuitive. It's less intuitive. It's become less intuitive. I'm sure it will become intuitive, but I guess the thing is, if in any doubt, try and just seek out some help. And seek out some help from someone that you know. You try and go out looking for it on the internet, then you're open to sales companies who'll be quite happy to charge you an awful lot of money.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much.